Okay, good morning and good afternoon to everybody out there, and welcome to this IB Wave public safety demonstration and webinar. My name is Damien Damasio. I am the Director of Sales and Engineering for IB Wave in Asia Pacific. And today I have a colleague of mine, Justin Saw, with me, and together we will present to you our exciting new product focusing on the public safety segment. So welcome again. And I will be moderating today with you. So I've got a few slides to present and then we'll hand over to Justin for the demonstration. So if we can just go to the next slide. Okay, just a few housekeeping items for those in the audience. The first one is that this session is being recorded. So you don't need to frantically write notes or anything like that. Just take the information you need. We will be sending out the recording in a few days following the webinar. And then if you have any follow-up questions, you'll have our contact details on that email. So feel free to play it back or share it with your colleagues. The other note for the session is that there is a questions and chat box inside your GoToMeeting screen, and there you can actually type in some questions to us at IB Wave. So what we will do is we have a couple of my engineers with us today. We will try to address those questions inside the text chat. So Justin will continue with his presentation, but feel free to write those questions anytime. If we do run out of time or can't answer the question in the chat, we will follow up with you after the session. So feel free to write anything along the way. Okay, so with that, we will begin the webinar itself. So just some information for those who haven't heard of us before. We were going to cover a few things today in the agenda. The first one is a quick introduction to IB Wave. There are a few other products that I wanted to announce today as well that might interest you. So we'll just touch on that briefly, and then we'll go straight into what are public safety networks, a few slides on that one, and then IB Wave's solution to the public network design challenge that you may have. And following that, there'll be a live demonstration. So you'll actually see the IB Wave product in action, and then it might interest you. We can follow up with a personal demo for you and even a trial to play with it yourself. So that's the plan for today. It should run for about 30 or so minutes. So please stick around for the lot if you can. So just a quick slide on who we are and what we do for those who don't know. IB Wave has been around for about 16, 17 years, and our original objective was to solve the problem of designing in-building systems, which are very complex and very expensive solutions. So we tried to make that job a lot easier and more accurate for the engineers out there. So over those 15 to 20 years, we have become the worldwide standard in that space, in the in-building design space. We have over 95% market share around the world with all the major operators and system integrators and OEMs. So we are the go-to. We are owned by Corning International, so a very strong, stable parent company based in the US. As I mentioned here, we have over 1,000 customers around the world. So we are a global player in this space, and we have recorded over 100,000 in-building solution products over that period of time. We also host the largest component database in the world, over 34,000 components we have in our database from over 300 equipment vendors. So when you're designing an in-building system, whether it be for cellular or for Wi-Fi or for public safety or for IoT in that case, we have a comprehensive database that you can drag and drop components that will have the specifications behind them, so you can do your task on the, live. So rest assured, moving from cellular to Wi-Fi to public safety, we are branching out there, and this release, IB Wave release 15, is not only public safety. There are a couple of other game changers that we have released in this product, in this release. So normally you may be familiar, we have a design product which focuses on cellular and Wi-Fi. We have a mobile product, which is a tablet you can take out to site to do your surveys. And we have a Unity product, which is where you can store and share all of that information that you collect from site and from the office. But in release 15, we are launching a number of other products. So we are expanding, and this might be of interest for you. The first one is the subject of today's webinar, which is public safety. And this is where you can actually plan, design, and propose public safety networks for the governments that you may work for, or the companies you may be servicing. The next product, which we can follow up in later webinars and meetings, is Reach. And this is the first time IBWave is going outdoors. So not only do we design for indoor, but you can also design indoor and outdoor to take into account pollution or coverage from macro or small cells that are outside the building. So more of a cellular Wi-Fi IoT solution, but nevertheless, it's very exciting for those designing dense urban networks or campus networks, or even high-rise buildings where you have different interference and coverage at different heights. So something I encourage you to try out, because I've been waiting for this myself for a long time. Survey is the other one we're branching out. So IBWave traditionally has been a design product, but as of today, as of yesterday, we're moving out into outdoors as well as surveys. So for the first time, you can actually do design and measurements within the same product. You can go onto site, you can draw a floor plan, you can take measurements, you can do the design all on a tablet in one shot. So again, I encourage you to try this out. It's really exciting. And the last one to mention for today and for this release is Uplink. So this is the first time. Traditionally, most of our design has been focusing on the downlink, which for the first users of the internet has been more for consumption of whatever's on the internet. But now that we've got Internet 2.0 and even 3.0, we are focusing on both uplink and downlink, because posting videos and so on is just as important as receiving them. So it's good to design the network to make sure it works in both directions. So a lot's happening in this release. We're only covering public safety today, but if you do have any questions or interest in any of the other products I've mentioned here, feel free to contact either your local partner in any of those countries across Asia Pacific, or you can write to us directly at sales@ibwave.com and we'll put you onto the right channel. So that's my bit for today. I'm going to focus back on Justin now to bring us through the public safety demonstration. Over to you, Justin.
Thank you, Damien. Thank you, Damien. Hi, everyone. Good morning and good afternoon. I'm Justin Saw. So today I will talk about public safety network. So the first agenda today for the public safety network that I'm going to talk is about what are public safety networks. All right. Public safety network is actually not a new term. It's a specialized wireless communication that are used in event of emergency. So what's the event of emergency? It's actually between the first responder, the firefighter, and some emergency workers for natural disasters, for fires, hazards, for accidents, and some unlawful situations. So public safety network is actually designed for save lives. That's why around the world, it's actually one of the legal requirements from many of the countries. Due to the importance of the network, the requirement is always on reliability and availability of the public safety network. Right. So what happened to public safety network in Asia, in APAC? So APAC in Asia is actually quite a lot of countries, but today I'm going to pick up some of the countries such as Australia. So Australia had been announced in public safety as a public safety mobile broadband, and on December 2018, the Council of Australian Government have issued a very comprehensive public safety network strategy roadmap. In the roadmap itself, it talks about what frequency to use, and what the direction of the government is very good. It's very clear. And any of you, if interested, you actually can download from Australian government website. The second one is actually Japan. Japan is always focused on public safety network due to the nature of the Japan. And the new public safety network they are focusing is actually on LTE, and the details will be announced around March 2021. South Korea. South Korea have been one of the leading wireless technology in Asia as always. Their public safety network is actually built on LTE itself, and they're actually led by Ministry of Interior and Safety. The public safety network, they're called public safety LTE network, will be divided into 3 phases and to be planned to completed by this year. For Thailand actually Cat Telecom deployed a Tectra network nationwide, cover up to 95% of the country, serving about 200,000 of users, including government departments, oil and gas company, transportation operators, and other critical organizations. So we can see that from Asia point for Asia, Tectra is always in public safety network, and now slowly they are moving to LTE. So we can see that public safety networks in Asia are moving to the direction of LTE. So how about IBWave? What is IBWave public safety solution? IBWave has a dedicated version of software called IBWave Public Safety. It's actually focused on to plan, to design, and to propose public networks that are meet government's requirements. In overall, IBWave actually provides a suite of products and trainings for planning and design, aiming for public safety network. The first one is actually IBWave Unity. It's a shared platform, data shared platform. It's a cloud solution to allow us to share the design, the planning of the buildings, and to allow the project manager or the higher management to understand the progress of the project itself. And this Unity also able to share within government agencies to allow them to download and know the project compliances. The second one is IBWave Public Safety. This is the major product today I'm going to demo and talk about. It's actually installed on our PC to allow us to do planning and design. The last but not least is actually IBWave Mobile. This is a mobile app that installed on Android-based tablet or even handphone, smartphone. Allow us to do walk tests and data collection. The latest versions allow us to do single band cellular survey. Something like public safety only operate on single band, maybe on 450 or even 800 or 900. And it's able to integrate with third-party collection tools. So this is actually the family of IBWave public safety solutions. We continue to, what is our consideration for public safety? What is the challenges and what are the things that we need to overcome when we're doing the public safety design? So basically, public safety network for in-building, especially for in-building or the entire public safety, always running on low frequency, such as 450, such as 800, be it running on Tetra or LTE. So generally speaking, the large building, as above, more than 20,000 meters square might require public safety system, a dedicated public safety system inside the building. For smaller buildings, it's quite okay because 450 or even 800, the penetration is actually quite good. But however, the newer the material used on the building itself might be different, and there's a high chance that for the new building, we might require dedicated public safety system inside the building. For very large buildings, maybe over 20K of meter square of building. Repeater or bi-directional amplifier might not enough. So maybe another option is actually active staff. Among all the public safety network that we have actually designed and understand, it actually can split into passive dust and active dust. And passive dust is actually the dominance of the public safety network. It's about 80% of the market share. So what is the challenge for public safety network? Right. As we mentioned just now, public safety network need to get high availability and reliability because this is a life-saving network. So, and within the compound, within the building, maybe there's a different requirements for different area from the government, such as we have a general area and a critical area. So how are we going to design this? How are we going to maintain, meet the QoS requirement and the coverage requirement? The second is, if you are using repeater bi-directional amplifier, how are we going to reduce the cost of the network itself? And how are we going to know the radio interference, especially on repeater, especially from the bi-directional amplifier? And how much power we need to amplify in the PDA. This is all the challenges that the designer face. The last but not least is actually how to ensure to have a proper documentation. Especially public safety network, we need to have, government may have a different requirement, and documentation is very important for this. Documentation also refer to maintenance and also refer to future upgrade. So these are three big challenges for the entire public safety network. And follow up, I would like to talk about how IBWave address all these issues. IBWave actually have a feature, the new features that released early this year, is actually called critical compliance area. This feature is actually target on public safety network. The reason is some of the areas such as lobby, emergency exit, may have higher requirements compared to the general area of the building. That's why in previous solutions, IBWave required at the same floor plan, same floor, you need to split into two different sections. One is actually the general section, another is actually the critical compliance area, which is higher KPI requirements, higher QoS requirements. But however, now IBWave offer this critical compliance area solution for actually to do it under the floor plan, which is easier for designer to do the design. The second one is donor antenna. The second one is actually how to reduce the radio interference and design effective and efficient indoor PSN system. IBWave also came out with another solution called donor antenna isolation. Allow us to understand how much isolation in dB that we need to have in between indoor and outdoor to reduce the interference, to mitigate the interference. The last but not least is actually the report, which is very important. And IBWave have a dedicated free software that's called IBWave Viewer. Everyone can download the IBWave Viewer, which allow the person to receive the IBW file and to view the design and the coverage or the compliance in 3D and output the report as per the person required. Okay, what is critical compliance area? So we can see from this slide, it actually allows us to have to separate out differences area. So we can see from the differences between the general area and the critical area. Later, I will actually do a demo on this. The second one is donor antenna isolation. It allows us to add the antenna and add the signal source, which might be the outdoor signal source, tested signal source, and allow the system to calculate how much is the isolation required. The isolation required threshold is actually configurable and allow us to see whether any of the flaw is actually not passed and how we're going to identify the issue and going to address the issue. The last is actually a report. So IBWave Viewer is a free utility actually able to download from IBWave website, especially for government agency, project manager, building owner, or construction crew. It's able to validate whether the design is actually compliant and speed up the approval process. So the report they're able to view from IBWave Viewer is actually not a 2D. You're able to view in 3D to see the entire design plan, the schematic, and the floor plan. And inside the IBWave Viewer, we can actually include the survey measurements or all the different output maps. We can check the compliancy result. Even in future, when the report requirements change, we can use the IBWave Viewer to select what report that we require and to print out a various reports and customized reports for our management or to the government. Okay, now it's time for demo. Okay, when we open up our IBWave Design Public Safety, this actually is the interface. From the interface itself, we actually can see that in the center window here, you can see that there's a startup page which allow you to navigate to all the new projects, open up an existing project, or a quick link to our component database, which just now Damien mentioned. They have a 34,000 of component inside, or even to my IBWave portals, which allow you to see there's various of training video and webcast, and join our IBWave blog. So the second page that we can see here is actually the design plan, the schematic. Here we can see how the design for the entire building from the basement or to the floor, and we can configure different color for different floor, or we just configure same color for all floors. How the antenna connection, how the system connect, all will actually show here. The brown color here is actually represent the riser to connect between up to each floor. And IBWave will automatically create the riser for you when you notice that you actually connect the cable between floors. Coming up is actually the floor plan itself. So to allow IBWave is very easy and support all different kind of floor plans. We can support AutoCAD, we can support PDF, we can support even picture formats. So it's actually very flexible to do. After we import the floor plan, it allows us to be easily to view the building in 3D. And we can see it from different wireframes as well. So the building owner will able to see clearly how the table being connected from each floor and from the riser itself. Based on just now what we have mentioned, the first one is actually we're talking about critical compliance area. So for the critical compliance area, I'll be able to design the floor plan in different requirements different compliances, such as the signal strength. So what we can do is from the general area, we can do the compliance area directly on the output map requirement. So from here, I actually set the requirement is minimum is -90 dBm, and the target area is 95% coverage. So this represents the general area. But how about the critical area? Something like emergency exit, something like control room, and something like the lobby. So we can set this different area to different requirements. So for this demo, I will actually set these three areas: the control room, the emergency exit, and also the riser, the area, and also the lobby as a critical area. For demo purposes, I will set the area to be different KPI requirements. So how we set the KPI requirements actually go to compliance area. I actually set from this particular area, I need a -95 dBm with 95% coverage, which much more higher requirement than the previous one in the general area. And especially for this lobby, I'll select a higher requirement as well. I'll set a -60 dBm with 100% of coverage requirement for this area, for specific this area. So what we can do is we can run the prediction, and we can see what the prediction told us. So the prediction will tell us that from the general area, it's actually passed. And for these three areas, we have the requirement of -95 with 95% of coverage is actually passed as well. But however, the requirement for the lobby area, which I required about -60 with 100% coverage, is actually failed. So from this, we're able to know that whether we want to add more coverage over here, add more antenna over here, or it's actually to meet the requirement. The second one is other than signal strength inside the building, we're also able to see signal strength leakage from the building itself. So from here, you can see that how the signal strength travel out from the building. And we're able to see from the building 3D value, 3D itself as well. Also the 3D view for the in-building. You can see from each floor how the coverage for each floor. Then the second one is actually donor antenna isolation. So what is donor antenna isolation? So IPA system, it allows us to design a different source of the signal. So the first one will be very straightforward, will be the base station inside the building. The second one is actually using a repeater. So I get a Yagi antenna over here, which repeater will either I do it as a measure RSSI, or it's actually a theoretical RSSI. So for this demo, I actually do a measure RSSI, off-air measure RSSI. And we actually have another option here, which actually coordinate. This allows us to key in the coordination for the location that we measure the signal. Then after that, we can key in the measure signal, key in 60. Then we can actually ask the system, ask the aggregate antenna to receive. How the aggregate antenna receives the signal is actually go through associate antenna with system, which allow us to connect to the 450 LTE public safety network. After you connect all this, you connect to the bidirectional amplifier, then we actually can see whether how the signal happens connect to the DDA. So to do donor donor antenna isolations, we actually can click here. They will ask the system to help us to validate. So you can see that my requirement is negative 20 dB, 20 dB isolation. So you can see here that it's actually all filled from the second floor and above. So this might be very big reason that I actually set too high requirement for the BDA gain, 60 dB. So I might need to change it to lower. I change it to 40. After I change to 40, I click again and ask the system to validate again. Then we can see that the requirement is actually less than 20 dB. They actually have 20 dB isolation. And the next very important point is we need to balance out all the composite power from all the antenna points. So you can see that it's actually quite different from third floor to first floor. The first floor have very high composite power. So what we can do is, IBF have an automation tools. Under the automation tools, they have a splitter balancing. So most likely on this uneven, unbalanced power, most likely is the splitter I choose is actually not balanced. So what I can do is I add in all the splitter that that I have in the system that I want to place in. Then I ask the system to help me to balance the power of the output composite power. I press apply, because you can see that now it's actually quite balanced. Among all the three floors, it's about negative 18. And help me to change the proper filter for this system. The next one is actually how the project output the report. So under the top row here, there's a tab called report. So under the report itself, we can actually IBA have a various different reports, such as equipment list, the cost detail, the output map, the survey data, and compliance, or even link budget. So today I will talk about link compliances. We actually will output certain report, something like this. From this, we actually can see that or the total compliance for the general area is actually all meet the requirements. I make it bigger. Then how about each different critical area that just now I've set? So you can see that this is the 4 critical areas for compliance, critical area that just now I have set. So you can see it will show us that which area are not compliant, so that for the designer point of view, it's easier for me to go into if there's a lot of flaw, then from this report, and easy for me to know which flaw is actually not compliant, and I can address the issue immediately. This report, all the reports are able to export to a different format: a PDF, HTML, Excel, PowerPoint, or even image file. So that's why for the IBA viewer, what IBA viewer can see is allow the building owner to see clearly, or even for the agency to see clearly how is the coverage per floor. Exactly the same on this. IBA viewer can see the difference in 3D mode, and how the cable running. And if today the requirement change, the report requirement change, so the IBA viewer can also output a different set of report to allow to us to do a different to customize into different kind of report. strength for each floor. So we can anytime is the requirement change, it's actually able to output to different formats to allow us to update to do the report separately. So it's the end of the demo. If you have any inquiries, you can just contact us anytime, and we can get back to you as soon as possible. So, why is IBA public safety is so good for you? IBA have an entire ecosystem. It's ranging from survey, pre-survey, even where to install, and even the frequency survey. Then all this will connect together with IBA Unity to connect to IBA Unity and allow the person, the designer in the office, to use IBA public safety immediately after the survey, after the person has surveyed the location. And they can download the file immediately in the office. And after that, the designer able to design and plan it on their PC, and able to the data able to transfer to Unity and allow IBA Mobile, the constructor, to actually, or the SI, to build the network in the building. All the information such as built will store in IBA Unity, and this information will actually able to open for to authorized person with IBA viewer to open up the report and for future expansion purpose. This is a standard. IBA public safety is a solution to establish standard tool to design reliability public safety networks with proper documentation, saving time and also cost. IBA, we also provide certification. The certification is actually widely recognized. We actually have a lot of real-life examples in order for us to learn from different countries, maybe different requirements. We have a world-class instructor, and we have a dedicated support to support all the questions that we have. And thank you. This is the last slide of mine, and I would like to pass it back to Damien.
Okay, thank you, Justin. And I'd like to thank all of you for attending today. I hope this was helpful to you. As you can see, we have a suite of solutions for the public safety segment. So if you are interested in having a try of our product or having a deeper dive, feel free to reach out to your local partner, or if you know our sales team already directly, or you can write to us at sales@ibwave.com. And as I mentioned, the session is recorded and will be sent to you shortly. We'll follow up. And again, if you would like to try out any of our products, just let us know. We're here to help. And with that, I wish you all safe and all the best health for the coming months. We'll close the session now, and any of the questions we couldn't get to, we will respond directly. So thank you again, and have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.